Today we are going to be looking at question 29 of our machine learning question and answer series, and this is an interesting question because it's now trying to ask a question that connects two different aspects of machine learning. Actually, two different aspects of artificial intelligence, and that trying to do it under machine learning. So the question now is, how is neural network related to classification and regression? In fact, when I was making up this question, I was really very excited because I never thought of it before now. But interestingly, everything under AI actually connects. Neural network, physiologic, genetic algorithm, supervised learning, non-supervised learning, everything kind of relates together in one way or the other. So now let me now explain how neural network relates to classification and regression. I'll also like to remind you to subscribe to my channel by clicking on the subscribe button below this video. In that way, you kind of motivate me and also get notified when I make new lessons. So let's go ahead to get started. Now, just like models for classification and regression, neural networks can also be used to build models that can be used to make inference or prediction. Similar to the basis functions in classification, neural networks are based on activation functions whose parameter needs to be determined and optimized. So I'm going to create a simple model for regression and classification, and I'm going to create a simple model based on neural network, and then we see how it relates. So let's start first with classification. Let's start with classification, or let's say regression first. Regression. Actually, I'll take regression and classification to be the same. So remember that for regression, we are trying to fit a function x, a function f of x that is linear in some parameter w, and we'll have it as w0 plus w1x plus w2x squared plus wm xm for an m order polynomial. So now we have a model for regression, so we can now tune the parameters w. Okay, we tune the parameters w to be able to give us a good fit for the data set. Now let's now look at neural network. Let's see how the function looks like. Neural net. So in this case, we have neuron. Remember, in neural network, we always have a neuron. Let's say something like this. And it has some outputs, and it has series of input 1, input 2, input 3. Let's just assume we have 3 inputs. So we have x1, x2, and x3. These are the inputs. Each input has some weight assigned to it. W1, we have W0, W2, and we have W3. And now we have, let's just call it Y. So we have some function here. Let's just call it whatever it is, sigma. So this y depends on, is a function of all these parameters and the weights. So we have the y output of the neural network model is equal to x times x1 times w1. We have x1 w1 plus x2 w2 plus x3 w3 plus some error somewhere. So this is the basic model for a neural network. Now compare it with that of regression. So here we have some base term, and here we have some error term that we don't know, and then we have the model parameters, which is x and w. Here we have the model parameters x and w. So basically, you build a model using neural network. You also build a classification model. You build a model for classification and regression. I mean, in more like in the same similar way, trying to build a model that you can use to predict information about the data or make some inference. So this relationship between neural network and actually supervised learning. So I'm going to actually stop here, and I also want to remind you to continue learning. Machine learning is really very important, so take some time to continue learning. If you have questions, feel free to ask me. I'll personally try to reach you to answer your question and give you the necessary support you need.